This is the story of Final Fantasy XIV, A Realm Reborn, patch 2.2 through the Maelstrom. At the end of patch 2.1, we left off where the Scions had just settled into their new headquarters at the Rising Stones in Revenant's Toll. Settled in her new headquarters at the Rising Stones, Minfilia receives word from Amagina and Sons' mineral concern. They've reported a series of robberies, and since crystals are being stolen, the hero is sent to Horizon to meet with Y'shtola and Thancred to look into it. In Horizon, the hero speaks with Y'shtola and Fufulupa of the Brass Blades, since the Blades are already investigating the robberies. As they are speaking, Thancred approaches with news. He says a carriage fleeing a recent robbery was stopped, and though the haul was massive, there were no crystals on board. As the heroes struggle with what to do next, Thancred's link pearl rings.
Another matter requireth thine attention. A young maiden.
Far across the sea from the land of Doma have we traveled. We seek audience with the ruler of these lands.
Back in Horizon, Fufulupa has a thought. With all the robberies happening unnoticed, he suspects the culprit may be among the Brass Blades. The hero is sent to wait nearby and hopes to catch the next robbery. Shortly after, a suspicious group is spotted and a fight breaks out. Once they are defeated, the heroes note that the thieves come all the way from Lominsa, and they are puzzled as to why they've come so far. But before the hero can go further, he is called to another duty and leaves the investigation to the others. The hero meets with Alphino in Vesper Bay. He says a band of visitors have arrived from Doma seeking audience with the Sultana in Ul'dah. Doma is a kingdom in the Far East currently occupied by the Empire, but Alphino suspects these people barely escaped. The two of them approach the visitors in Ul'dah outside the royal chamber. They witness the Sultansworn denying the Domans an audience with the Sultana as they already have too many desperate refugees in their city. Alphino invites them to the quicksand to befriend them and hear their case. Their leader introduces herself as Yugiri and agrees.
We have traveled some several thousand miles across the sea, from the nation of Doma, in hopes that we might find sanctuary in these lands. When the War of Succession broke out in Garlemald, we espied an opportunity to free ourselves from the yoke of imperial oppression and took up arms, only to be crushed. Doma is gone, razed to the ground as an example to the other provinces.
12 have mercy. And your people?
On a ship anchored in Vesper Bay, I sought an audience with your rulers, but was summarily refused. Mayhap I was foolish to expect otherwise, but our supplies run low and we have young ones in urgent need of care.
The Sultana and the Syndicate will not be so easily swayed, but I shall see that you are granted an opportunity to plead your case. But I do have the ear of certain influential individuals.
I am in your debt.
It seems I have urgent business with the Flame General. I leave our guests in your capable hands.
Yugiri asks the hero for anything he can do to help. He checks with Momodi and she just happens to have plenty of extra food right now, so she eagerly helps. Yugiri is humbled and thankful. Alphino returns with great news. He spoke with Roban and he's convinced the Sultana and the Syndicate to hear Yugiri's plea. Alphino, the hero, and the Domans head there straight away.
I come before you as a pauper in direst need of aid, to request that you grant my people asylum.
I, Nanamo, 17th in the line of Ul, welcome you to our city. Be at ease, Lady Yugiri.
When a war of succession broke out in Garlemald, we sought to take advantage of the chaos and reclaim our liberty. And our rebellion was put down in the most brutal fashion. More than 200 souls huddle within the cramped confines of our own galleon's hold. It is my hope that you will allow us all to dwell within your walls. We would serve as soldiers or tradesmen until our debt is repaid.
If they are willing to work, I see no reason not to let them.
Shall we call a vote?
Mayhap you think the Brass Blades and the Flames are not hard-pressed enough?
But we are hardly in danger of financial collapse. I move that an exception be made.
Mayhap our wise and benevolent Sultana would be so good as to enlighten us as to which other of our laws should not be upheld.
You know as well as I that people can be a resource still more precious than gil.
A proposal has been tabled. Given its urgency, I move we forego further debate and call a vote. Those in favor, I bid you remain. Those opposed, I bid you leave.
Without the consent of the Syndicate, I cannot act.
I understand, Your Grace, and I appreciate all that you have done on our behalf.
Pray, accept my sincerest apologies.
The Monitorists have grown especially defiant of late. Lord Lolorito most of all.
After the meeting, Roban asks to speak with the Domans and the heroes at the Hall of Flames. Realizing that Ul'dah, Gridania, and Limsa Lominsa all will refuse to receive them, Alfino finds the solution. He says that in Revenant's Toll there is a need for hard labor on the frontier, and he'd gladly take the Domans if they're willing to work. Of course, they gladly accept the offer. At the Quicksand, they work out the logistics, being that there are 200 Domans in their company. Momodi agrees to accommodate them for rest and recuperation before the journey, and Teledji Adeledji agrees to provide caravans for the trip from his personal expenses. Before the caravans depart, the hero clears the road of stray monsters. As they are leaving, the hero speaks with the Domans. They recall how Yugiri and her family were among the most fierce fighters against the Empire, knowing it was hopeless but still refusing to surrender. They also tell the hero that they will do whatever work is needed at Revenant's Toll, as they are grateful to have a new life. Suddenly, a gang of children enthusiastically interrogates the famed Warrior of Light. The hero introduces Yugiri to Slothborn in Revenant's Toll. She promises that her people will work hard on the frontier, and Slothborn treats her kindly. The hero introduces Lady Yugiri to Minfilia at the Rising Stones. Minfilia is happy to help, and Yugiri is thankful. Moments later, Y'shtola arrives with updates pertaining to the crystal robberies.
For the recent spate of crystal thefts in Thanalan, we naturally assumed that the trail would lead us back to the Amalja. Yet it did not. It led us across the sea unto Vilbrand.
There have been reports of increased Sahagin activity of late. They mean to summon Leviathan?
'Tis only a matter of time before Leviathan returns to harrow the seas. Such a disturbance in the ether.
Our Lord shall rise midst surging wave to wash away the finless one. And I shall be granted the gift and knowledge of eternity.
Whence comes this promise of immortality? The emissary?
The gift and knowledge. You shared that vision, did you not? I recognized Elidibus's words. He is behind this.
My lady, unless we act swiftly, Leviathan will rise again.
Let us make haste to Limsa Lominsa. I mean to play a part in this mission, but there is something I must see with mine own eyes. The true nature of the Echo.
On the condition that you permit me to accompany you as bodyguard.
Your company is ever welcome, Thancred.
In return for the kindness you have shown my people, I would lend you my blade.
It would be most welcome. Be sure to come well prepared.
The Scions and Yugiri head to Limsa Lominsa and meet with Merlwyb. She says the Primal has not yet been summoned and they may be able to stop it. She asks why Minfilia came, and Minfilia only says she wants to see it with her own eyes. She then turns to the hero and suggests he meet with Commander Falkbrida at Camp Skull Valley. The hero speaks with her, and she is angry at the Sahagins who have already killed many of her soldiers. Merlwyb arrives and tells the commander to keep her head clear and focused on the mission. Merlwyb lays out her orders to the Maelstrom, as Minfilia does the same to the Scions. The hero makes his way to the summoning location and kills many Sahagins along the way.
Mental note, pick no quarrel with Domans.
You'll forgive me my lateness.
Your time is at an end! Lord of the world, hearken to our plea!
It's the Echo.
I am eternal! O mighty Leviathan, come forth!
Heavens forfend.
Curse you, emissary! You promised me everlasting.
Where did he go?
He means to unleash a tidal wave.
Merlwyb calls a meeting to determine what to do next now that Leviathan has been summoned.
Some years prior to the Maelstrom's founding, Leviathan rose from the briny depths and set about unleashing watery hell upon us. But when the bastard came next, this time in the wake of the calamity, he summoned a tidal wave which fair leveled Hearthstone.
The area was subsequently occupied by the Sahagin.
The primal must be stopped.
But how are we to achieve it?
Admiral, if I may. The key to victory, I believe, lies in disarming our foe. I have heard of devices capable of such wonders. They draw upon the power of corrupted crystals, I am told.
Sid built a similar device to grant the Enterprise safe passage through Garuda's Tempest, did he not?
Do we have a ship big enough to bear such a burden?
Recall you the tale of Mistbeard's greatest haul? It is said that he lashed 2 ships together. The gods know it would be quicker than building a new vessel. The task of piloting said vessel will entail considerable danger. I volunteer myself.
Very well. Command of the operation is yours. Go well, Warrior of Light.
After the meeting, Yugiri tells the hero that in the Far East there are legends of godlike beings, but she never believed them until now. Just then, word arrives that there's a visitor claiming he's beaten Leviathan before. Merlwyb has her doubts but confesses they can't afford to ignore what he has to say just in case. The hero checks out this lead, and it turns out to be the same fake hero who claimed to have slain Titan earlier. Having gained nothing and running out of time, the heroes meet at the docks to get ready to confront Leviathan upon the Whorleater. Sailing on the Whorleater with the Maelstrom, the hero approaches Leviathan and attacks. After a fierce battle with the serpent and the waves, the hero emerges victorious. The hero returns to Merlwyb in the command room.
On behalf of my people, I give you my humblest thanks.
This experience has served to remind me of the vastness of the world, and the boundless potential of man. Know that I am tutored in one of the foremost combat arts of the Far East.
Few are privy to this information, but Lominsa is home to a certain secret fraternity. It should not be beyond such individuals to adapt to the techniques I witnessed you employing with such admirable deftness.
Thancred was once something of a scoundrel who fraternized with the criminal class in these parts.
Yestola! You jest, of course.
I shall set about sharing my martial knowledge with your people at once.
You wished a word in private?
As the kobolds stood before them, the Sahagin resorted to summoning their god over a territorial feud. They acted in self-preservation.
If our own survival is threatened, are we to lay down our arms and welcome oblivion? Nay.
Yet if living is a right, then that right belongs to all peoples, be they men or beastmen.
But when a storm gathers, it falls to me to see my people safely through it. That is my duty, and I shall do it.
As must we all, Admiral.
Man has ever put himself first and foremost. In this, mayhap the Garleans and we Domans are not so different.
When hopes of coexistence founder, strength must determine who has the greater right to live.
After the meeting, Merlwyb pins a letter to introduce Yugiri to an unnamed underground fraternity in Limsa Lominsa. They go, and the fraternity agrees to train her in stealth combat. Yugiri plans to stay a while, so they part ways and the hero returns to the Rising Stones.
I have been reflecting upon the events which took place during our visit to Vilbrand. When the Sahagin elder summoned Leviathan, he employed the power we have come to know as the Echo. But never did I imagine that it could free us from our own flesh, nor less that our souls could then occupy the next corporeal vessel to take our fancy. As we both bore witness, he was ultimately absorbed into Leviathan. If the Ascians' mode of existence is indeed the same, it can be inferred that they too are not invulnerable, that they can be destroyed. Is Artemis?
It doth concern our distant allies, the students of Baldesion. The Isle of Val, which for many years hath been the Order's home, is no more. 'Tis postulated that a magic was evoked, like in power to Ultima.
12 preserve.
It is done, my lord. But these orders, I am uncertain as to what end they serve.
Revolution.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see what happens next, check out the next video on patch 2.3. See you next time.